What's happening, fishing friends? Welcome to another episode. Today I've got a spring lure unboxing. Now, a couple of these are from smaller companies and a couple are from a little bit larger companies that you've probably already heard of. But I'm excited to get out spring fishing. I've been out a couple times. I've only caught one fish on each trip, but we finally just had the ice clear a couple weeks ago, so it's still very early in the season for me. That spring bite's going to be picking up quick. So I wanted to share some things that I picked up with some of you. Like I said, a couple companies are smaller. We're going to start with one of those. So first off, like I've said before, I want to get more into the swim baits and wake baits. This is actually a company called Trap Bass Baits. And like always, all the companies and stuff, I'll leave them linked below in case you want to check them out. Some cool products, but these guys, I saw their stuff on Instagram. So he hand makes wooden swim baits. This is a 3-piece wooden wake bait. So you can see they're large lip. This thing total weighs 3 1/8 ounce, so it's a larger wake bait. I just thought it was a cool action. I mean, even the tail, I don't know if that's like some sort of polycarbonate tail or whatever, but even that moves. So you're gonna have a wake bait that completely articulates and gives a really cool swimming motion. I think they call this like the baby carp color or something like that. He didn't have much left when I went on to order, but you know, I have a huge appreciation for these, you know, smaller bait making companies. Even if the stuff's a little bit more expensive, you know, being somebody who makes tackle now, I understand how much work goes into it. So like I've said before, I want to try to give back to some more of these smaller companies to try to help them out. Like I've said, they need our help now more than ever. So you know, just a cool cat making some sweet, cool looking wooden swim baits. I've watched the footage of these online and they look really cool. So I picked up that, one of the wake baits, and then one of the, I forget what he calls this, like the Mighty Mouse or the Little Mouse Wake, I forget, but this only weighs 1 3/8 ounces. So you can see it's, you know, smaller than the size of my hand. It's not a very big wake bait. It's got 2, I would guess, size 4 trebles on there. But it's a wake bait. You can see that lip there. So that's going to come through, you know, like a rat. He's got his custom tail on there. But, you know, if that rips off or whatever, I could just buy some trick worms or whatnot or something to put on it. But cool looking rat, you know, cool paint job. It's got that kind of reflective pinkish fur pattern. This one's same thing, this wake bait. It's got like a reflective, mirrory, glittery look to it. Really cool. I saw those and I thought, you know what, I'm going to help support him. There's a bunch of these, you know, garage bait type places popping up nowadays. Lots of cool people out there. And I figured, you know what, I'm going to try to support some of the smaller folks and get into this wake bait, swim bait game and see if throwing some of these bigger lures, I really can draw in some big bites. I think that would be a ton of fun. I've talked a bunch in the past about my love for the Skinny Dipper and Little Dipper. I was excited to see these. Checking out Tackle Warehouse. What do you know? They've got another size out there. They call this baby the Big Dipper. No, I'm not talking about the Constellation. I'm talking about another dipper in the family, a big dog, the Big Dipper. 6 inch, I'm gonna guess that's right at 6 inches, but that's in the sungill color. That color kills around here for me. You know, it's a great bluegill, green sunfish imitation, but a 6-inch swim bait. So like that Skinny Dipper, but in a 6-inch version. Love it, I'm excited to try that out. You can see it does have the slit in the belly for the hook slot, so that way when you put your, I don't know if I'll use like a size 6 Owner Beast in this, but you know, you put your screw lock hook in there and that comes through. That slit in the belly gives that hook extra room to move up into the belly to expose more of that hook point, to give you more of a point and more of a hook to actually keep, you know, that fish hooked and pinned instead of getting all the plastic up in the way of it. We got a 6-inch in that Big Dipper in sungill. Also got that Big Dipper in Sexy Shad. You all know Sexy Shad's one of my favorites around here. Does well in stained water. It's got that kind of pearly belly into like a light chartreuse with glitter, into that kind of light blue kind of back. I don't know what color you call that blue, but like a lightish sky blue type thing. But it's a weird color. You know, it's not anything I would ever think of as catching fish, but it's a color historically that has done really well for me. So a couple packs of the Big Dippers. And then also, I've talked about this in the past, you know, an old school technique, throwing that Merthiolate worm. It was last year, you all watched, or if you haven't, check out Mark Daniels down in Texas, right around spawn. He killed it on a Merthiolate worm. So now these are called what? This is the Flirt worm, 6.95 inches in that Merthiolate color, again, from Reaction Innovations. So it's a neat design. It's got like a kind of a ribbed flat bottom part back to that, I don't know what you call that part, the abdomen or whatever of the worm. And then back it kind of tapers down and has almost like a star-shaped tail. I don't know if you can tell real well, but you can see that tail has kind of like a star, almost like a Phillips head screwdriver is kind of what it looks like on the back. So I bet this is going to have some crazy movement. I suppose I could even Nico rig this, hop that along like so, but I was thinking like a weightless Merthiolate worm, throwing that around. For whatever reason, Merthiolate upsets largemouth bass, and if you can get on that bite around spawn, it can be deadly. And that's like an old school thing. I remember the old school guys doing that. You know, it kind of died off. So Mark Daniels kind of reminded me of that last year. I bought one pack of, I want to say Zoom, and I didn't really get any luck with it. It was kind of after spawn, I think, when I tried throwing it. But this year, hopefully, we're going to try throwing those and see if we can catch some. All right, up next is an order from BACKLASHES. So again, I'll link their stuff down below. I've had a few guys ask me about BACKLASHES if I've ever ordered from them. I have not. Now, because of the amount I spent with them, they did throw in a free buff, which is kind of cool. Their insignia is like a hand grenade that says BACKLASHES on it. Of course, they've got the flag there. Really cool. I like that. That's a cool buff. But even cooler are the baits that they offer. Now, I got kind of a slew of different stuff. So this is the BACKLASHES spinnerbait. They had a couple different spinnerbaits. I don't see the name on it here. I should have got that. But it's kind of cool. He does a staple there to keep it in place so it's not flopping all around, chipping stuff off. But this is the spinnerbait that I got. And I picked it up because, check out that color. I'm a huge fan of purple and chartreuse. And this is like a real light, kind of muted purple and chartreuse. Oh my goodness. 3/8 ounce, it's got that silver blade there. It's got the little smaller gold willer blade up front. So you've got kind of the best of both worlds, but the color on that thing is sweet. It's got the chartreuse belly there with some chartreuse color. They are all hand-tied skirts. That's one thing that you get with those. Looks like they use like a nylon thread or something like that on there. It's not wire, it's a thread of some sort. It does have a bait keeper. I know a lot of people like having that, so you can put a paddle tail or fluke or whatever on it. Just that kind of cool, different head design, but a solid looking spinnerbait. I haven't got to throw them yet, but I love the looks of them. Very neat look. Love the purple and chartreuse. I'm excited to put that baby to work. I grabbed a couple of that color just because I love that color, and not a lot of places do purple and chartreuse. It's like a lavender, I think it was lavender shed maybe, lavender chartreuse. Next, I grabbed this one. I don't know what this version was. I apologize, I should have got the names, but this one looks like a turtleback blade, and Randizzle first showed me these. I've used like the Willow, Colorado, Indiana, but he showed me these a while back, and I noticed BACKLASHES had some of these. Pretty neat. You're going to get a bigger thump than you would with a Willow blade, probably closer to like a Colorado blade because of that shape. But these also come with that little orange kicker blade. Now in the spring, kicker blades, like a little orange or red kicker blade, can be absolutely killer if you get on that bite. So picked up some of those, and my favorite, which is just your regular white and chartreuse. Again, everything else the same. Head shape, the soft plastic keeper, but love it. Love the looks of it. Looks like a very well made, good sturdy. It's, it's not a super light wire spinnerbait. So yeah, excited to use that one. I like it, looks good. And then these are both willow blades, but I'll show you the colors. This was like a darker chartreuse green. I don't remember what color that was. They don't have like the colors on the actual bag, but almost more of like a baby bassish maybe, kind of pearl belly into the dark, and then chartreuse top, double gold willow blades. And then I got one of their bluegill colors. So that does have the silver blades, but a very cool looking bluegill skirt there. I like that. And if you don't throw a bluegill spinnerbait post-spawn, try it. I tell you what, you can clean up when those bass are aggravated with the bluegill for pestering them. They love to eat them when they're on beds. So those, and then the last two in the spinnerbaits, because I love spinnerbaits so much. I also got some orange spinnerbaits to throw. Again, that turtleback looking blade. I don't remember what he calls it, but that kind of ovally shaped blade that comes up to a point. Orange spinnerbait with an orange kicker blade. Oh yeah, grab two of those. We'll see if we can catch some fish on those. Okay, I did grab one of his buzz baits. His buzz baits were unique. The other colors that I wanted were actually out of stock, but again, hand-tied skirt. His buzz bait does have the soft plastic keeper. And you look at it up here, man, this has a lot going on. So this is a clacker version, so that's what this thing does here is, makes that clacking sound. It's also got a flashy little blade back here behind it. I've never seen that on a buzz bait. So very cool. You can see the shape of it there. It does let the bait drop down below the blades. So you're going to bring it through the water like this. Just gives it a little bit different look down there for that bass to come up and key on that. Overall looks great. Of course, black and purple. I'm a huge, huge fan of black and purple. low light or even night fishing, I bet this thing is going to attract. I mean, you've got the clack, you've got the buzzbait, you've got even thump and flash from this. Ooh, full moon night, I might need to go out and throw that baby. Check this thing out. So he's got a chatterbait blade up front, you know, you kind of your, I should say bladed jig, sorry, it's not a Z-Man. Your bladed jig up front look, but he's got a few beads here, and then he's got that, whoa, almost put the hook through my finger. He's got that spinny blade deal thing there that you see on some swim baits. Megabass has one, what's it, the Okashira screwhead or whatever. That type look on front of it. I don't know how this is gonna run. If this vibrates consistently, that's a whole bunch of this putting off bubbles, this putting off vibration. Again, hand-tied skirt, soft plastic keeper, and this is like a light purple bluegill or something like that. I mean, nailed. The skirt looks absolutely beautiful. Great work, I'm impressed with that. I only grabbed one of those. I should have grabbed a couple more. I just threw one on my cart, I don't know why. That was dumb of me, I'll probably lose it first cast. Okay, and then speaking of those swim bait heads with the little screw propeller deal on front, I grabbed a couple of those from him, so you can see he does have the thread on there with the soft plastic keeper, and then it's got the little ball there so your soft plastic doesn't go all the way up to that propeller. It should stop right before it, which allows that propeller to turn. So these are just swim bait heads. Heck, I could maybe even throw one of those on. Let's check. Nope, I think it's too small for those, but I've got something else coming up that I think these will work on, and I'll show you what it looks like set up. He does a little bit different play on the Ned rig. So he takes, you know, a Ned rig looking head, and this is one that obviously he's modified to be able to do this. It's got a longer wire keeper back here for your soft plastic. It's got the wire guard up front, but he's also dressed it. So these look like those Z-Man finesse shroom heads jigs that they make, but this is a little bit bigger. Beefier hook. It's not an ultra tiny micro wire hook, more reminiscent of, you know, a little bit stronger Ned rig hook, but that's a finesse Ned rig head jig. These are super neat. I absolutely love the look of those. Again, hand-tied skirt on it, very clean, everything nice and polished, that black and blue head. Super cool work. I'm really impressed with the BattleBaits stuff. And a company that I'd never really heard of. Like I said, I had a couple people on Instagram say, have you ever ordered from him? My guy Smackin' Bass. So I decided to put in an order, and I'm happy. He makes some sweet stuff. And I also grabbed one of those in like a brownish, almost like a bluegill sort of translucent look, I don't know, or like a brown craw. I don't remember what color this was, but like a brownish color. So a black and blue and like a natural brown. Now, last on his list, this is super cool. I think he calls this the drop Ned or the drop shot Ned. Never seen anything like this. I believe this is a what's the weight does it say? I want to say 1/32 ounce. So from here, it looks like a Ned head, right? But what's the deal? Why are there two eyes on it? Well, the reason is this is meant to be a drop shot rig in the middle. So where you'd have your little drop shot Ned rig deal, and then you can put your weight down below this. You can put another lure below this if you wanted to do like a little double rig. A cool thing. I don't know. I've never seen anything like this, but those two line ties there, again, hand-tied skirt with your soft plastic keeper, give it a try. So if you want that Ned profile, instead of bouncing on the bottom, you could hang a weight down below this like your regular drop shot and have this up here. I've never seen anything like this to put a skirted, you know, lure up in the middle like that instead of fishing it on the bottom. Cool, different design, but that's like a green pumpkin blue flake. And then I also grabbed a color to kind of mimic a bait fish. This is like a white pearl bottom with like a brownish iridescent blue top. So yeah, the drop Ned or something like that, very cool, unique. I've never seen anybody do that. All right, last but certainly not least, a company you probably have already heard of, 6 Cents. I think it was Baxter the Baitman posted this on his channel that they had some stuff back in stock that they haven't had for a while. If you haven't checked out Baxter the Baitman, super nice guy. He has a code you can use on the 6 Cents stuff. I think it's just Baitman. I'll link it down below. But I always use his code. I think it gives him a little bit of a kickback, so he's a nice guy. He deserves it. But we're going to start out first with these. These are the 6 Cents Divine Swim Baits. Now, if you listen to all the hype and everything out there, I know Milliken and all those guys, you know, want to trip down there. I haven't even watched the videos just because I think it would severely depress me, but Milliken and his buddy, the Zark, I believe is what they call him, had like multiple double-digit bass each in a single day. I couldn't imagine what that would even be like, but I heard, I'm pretty sure they were catching them on the 6 Cents Divine Swim Bait. So I've never used them. I've always had people asking me about them. I saw they had some colors in clearance, so I grabbed them. This is the 3.2-inch bluegill fire. Nice color. You can see the top of it there is kind of that green pumpkinish, and then you with black flake, and you turn it over and it's that orangish belly with like blue and orange flake. Cool bluegill color. I think that'll work well in the ponds and such around here, so I grabbed that smaller color, or that smaller size, for some kind of finesse stuff, or on the back of like a swim jig would be perfect. I got a 3.2-inch melon flash, which is like a watermelon with flake on top, and you flip it over and it's like an icy pearl with like silver flake on the bottom. Almost like a baby bass color is what that kind of reminded me of. I grabbed a little bit larger 4.4-inch golden shiner. So you can see it's got that kind of greenish top with the flake in it. And you flip it over and it's got that goldish flake with more of that yellow belly. So again, sunfish, bluegill, even gold shiner, you can mimic a lot with that color. I, of course, couldn't order without a sexy shad. They call it the sexified shad. That's a 3.8-inch blue back. And then your chartreuse flake belly there. I love that. I love that color around here. Now, I was a little upset because I could have swore I grabbed an all white. Apparently I didn't. I must have accidentally got these instead. This is called Ghost Ice Minnow, but the color is crazy. It's got that like pearly see-through-y top with that blue flake in there. Just looks sweet. And then the bottom is just kind of a plain. So it's a very natural bait fish color. That's what, 3.8-inch. Ghost Ice, I like that. And then this one, the 3.2-inch Pro Blue. So that's, to me, like a bluegill, you know, even some sort of bait fish. You can see the flash they have in it up top. Flip it around, it's like that icy, you know, kind of see-through with that silverish, greenish flash. Cool colors. I could have swore I grabbed all white, though. Dummy me. I like having just an all white, too, in dirtier water, but that was it for the swim baits from them. And then even cooler, they sent this in a little sack. I didn't get a sack. I didn't order this sack, but they threw these in it. Number one, I got another one of the 6th Sense Vega frogs. This was a color I wanted to get a while ago, but they were sold out when I ordered. This is called the Dark Water Pooch. Just a cool, different, unique color. You can see the bottom, instead of just being like a regular pearl, it's like an iridescent blue on it. Just a different look. I figure with a little sunshine, that'll give a cool flash. And then as you get up to the back of it, it's like a bluish black into these greenish, I guess you'd say, like frog markings on it. It's got the red mouth there, and then of course the, you know, your standard rubber legs. I always trim those. The 6th Sense Vega frog, because it is a little bit longer frog, you can see that profile. It does walk really well. I used it toward the end of last year. I wasn't able to catch fish on it. It was pretty much toward the end of frogging season. It was over, but I still threw it. It walks really well. You can see the hole to blow the excess water out is up on top. So I felt like it didn't take on as much water. You know, you turn it over like that and squirt that out, but walks well because it does have that cup mouth. It is like a poppin', splashing frog, so definitely be fishing those more this year. I've had a lot of people ask, how does it walk? How does it work? So far, I was happy with it. Good, super sharp hooks. You can see that body moves out of the way nice and easy, so one of those, and then a restock of these. I had one, a subscribed fishing friend was nice enough to send one in to me. Super thankful for that, but I wanted to test them more, and that one I didn't really want to throw because it's a cool color and somebody sent it in. So luckily they came back in stock with the Axis hard baits. Now, if you haven't seen these, the Axis has a metal lip on it, which is pretty cool. 13 Fishing does the Jabberjaw. I know Oklahoma's Worst Angler has done a review of the two. He's fished them both. Check out his channel if you want to see his take on that. I have not watched it yet. I'm sorry, Alex, but check out those babies. This is the, is this the Black Magic? Black and Blue Craw is what they call it. So black and blue, you don't see black and blue a lot. Kind of that blue purple belly, blue pearl belly is what I meant, sorry. Nice super sharp hooks. They look like KVDs. I don't know if they really are like the Mustad triple grip, but super sharp hooks, good hardware. This is what makes it unique. It's got a metal bill that vibrates back and forth. Now, one thing I remember about the Jabberjaw is I want to say it had like metal on each side so it clicked. That's the rattle you're hearing in there. The blade doesn't really click on this one. So I think it's going to put off more of a vibration, but super cool looking bait. I definitely want to try those. I like the you know, the fact that they've kind of mixed the bladed jig with a square bill crankbait. Very neat. I want to throw it. Cool idea. I've had a bunch of people ask me. They've been out of stock forever, so they finally got some in, so I grabbed one of each color that they had. This is Shad Burst, so more of a natural kind of holographic see-through look to it, almost like a baby bass kind of color too. The 4K shad, I had the most luck last year with that 4K shad 6 cents provoked jerkbait. Loved that color, so I'm hoping I can mimic that with this and catch some fish. And last was the 4K bluegill. They killed that color. That looks super neat. That looks like a custom paint job. They got the iridescent blue into the purple, the lines, orange on the belly. Very cool looks, and 6 cents really does have some of the best, out of the box paint jobs out there. Beautiful paint jobs. Oh yeah, and I told you I'd rig this up. This is that 3.8-inch melon flash on that BattleBaits screw head deal thing there. They say that's supposed to be a killer cool different head design. I know like the Mega Bass one people talk about, but makes a cool profile, cool look. That thing spins around, adds vibration. I think it does kind of a little bubble trail too, so cool. I've never fished them. We'll see how they do, but looks neat put together. So do me a favor, comment below and let me know what you're the most excited to see. Do you want to see these Divine swim baits? Maybe I can catch a double-digit bass here in Iowa. Maybe you want to see that Big Dipper in action. I'm excited to throw that. Like it or not, you're definitely going to see some frog fishing this year, so we'll be throwing that one. Or, maybe this jointed swim/wake bait. Whatever it is, whatever you want to see, comment below and let me know. Today's subscribed fishing friend is my guy James Smackabass over on Instagram. He's a nice guy. We talk back and forth, but he's a big fan of the BattleBait stuff, and he told me about him a while ago. Finally got that order in. So again, as always, I will link all these products, the places down below, so you can find them if you'd like to check them out, help support some of those small businesses. Otherwise, that's it for me. I've got to get all this put on the computer and edited so I can get a video up tomorrow. But again, thank you all for watching. I wouldn't be anything without all of you, so appreciate the support. Thanks for watching, and until next time.